Welcome back to the Relius Reviews. Today's review is focused on Animal Kingdom, Season 5, Episode 7, entitled Splinter. And the official synopsis of Splinter is: Pope confronts his demons with the help of a desert guru. Duran marks his territory as Jay handles business. Craig struggles with the demands of fatherhood. And before I give out my review and episode recap, please like and subscribe and comment and tell me what I should review next. And I thought this episode, it was a pretty cool episode. Nothing really special happening except for the ending, with a couple of things just setting things up. Like, honestly, this season so far has been nothing but just filler episodes, and with some episodes, something crazy, something big happening. So the episode begins with a flashback of just Smurf and Manny just talking. They're just talking about different things. Pope and Julia, they're eating breakfast, except for Pope, who for some reason refuses to eat his breakfast for whatever reason. Smurf leaves to go talk to Max, and then we see Cassandra and Pope. They are still doing crazy things together as the two are shooting at old cars while talking and everything. Pope says that Cassandra should shoot him and everything due to all of the mistakes that he's made in the past and everything. And Cassandra, she's not having it. She is not trying to do all of that. And the reason why Pope feels that way is because he says that Smurf tried to kill him over what she knew about him. As to him, he felt like Smurf knew that Pope was crazy in many ways. And then we see Craig and Ren talking. Ren is trying to get involved in more jobs with the Codys, but Craig is not having none of that after what happened during the last job. And the two basically have an argument about different things. So then we see Duran and Jay talk at the house about different things. Duran is getting a little bit tired about not receiving payment for that job that the entire Codys did with Jay, with the BMX and the drugs and all that kind of stuff. And then we see another flashback scene of just Smurf and Max talking. Max, he is sounding ungrateful with how much he's been receiving. And this is where we are introduced to the young version of Billy, Duran's father. And Smurf and Billy, they talk for a little while. They get to know each other. And that is how the two officially meets. So then we see Duran and Craig. It seems as if they're about to go surfing and everything. But the two have a huge argument about different things. And some of the reasons that they're arguing about definitely makes a lot of sense in many aspects. Cassandra and Pope, they drive up to a mysterious place with a large pool, and the two decide to just go inside the house and just jump into the pool. And when Pope jumps into the pool, he has a pretty good time and everything. And I don't know if he's still high off the drugs that he was given, or he just feels like he is in like a good position. And then we see another flashback scene of just Manny, who lost some money on a game sporting. And so he has to leave to go figure some things out. And then we see Jay and Pamela's granddaughter, Lark, talking about ownership, basically getting what I have to assume the ownership rights to Smurf's estate back. And Jay gives her the property that they were all expecting. Cassandra and Pope make another stop, and Cassandra decides to see her son. And Cassandra's ex stops all of that as the two are in a nasty divorce battle, custody battle. Like, it is just extremely bad. And long story short, Cassandra and Pope leave the park and everything. And then we see Smurf and Billy. They're inside of a trunk, busting some cheeks together, all that type of stuff. Those two talk for some more. And then we see Jay and Craig at the house just talking. Craig decided to get a bunch of teenagers to throw a house party due to getting the house back and everything else. And Craig, he is out of it. Like, the entire family this episode were definitely off one, as everybody is struggling except for Jay when it seems like it. Ren, on the other hand, was trying to get some more drugs, like to start selling drugs again and everything else. But the person that she usually buys drugs from is not trying to help. So then Ren finds a couple of skateboarders who is known for selling drugs or whatever, taking their customers. She confronts the skateboarders, and long story short, she takes out a weapon and basically beats up a couple of skateboarders and steals some of the drugs and gets away. So then meanwhile, back at the crazy house party, we see Craig not giving no types of F's, and a couple of people just ride off the top of the house into a fiery pool. Smurf arrives back home and sees that Pope and Julia are not there. And she starts to freak the F out, going extremely in like a huge panic mode, trying to look for her kids. So then we see Cassandra and Pope. They're back at Cassandra's place talking. Cassandra's talking about her kid, her ex, the divorce she's going through, custody battles. And long story short, the two end on somewhat of a bad note, and Pope decides to leave the house after she asks him to leave. Duran and his bar is struggling this season, as nobody is coming to his bar due to competition of a new bar, and thanks to a huge mistake with the orders regarding liquor and everything, the new owner and Duran have problems, and according to the streets, people think that the family did something to Adrian, like kill him, t-shirts, as he hasn't been seen for some time. So then Craig decides to take the kids to another location off the shore somewhere, and he decides to jump off a huge building. Police shows up just like that, and the kids, they escape. They all leave. They leave Craig behind. And Craig, just for the sake of it, decides to jump off the freaking building. So then we see Smurf, she makes it back home, and the kids are back home as well with Pamela, as Pope decided to call Pamela for help. Pamela and Smurf talk, they make up, and we see Pope somehow being able to sneak back into Cassandra's house. I don't know exactly what he did. It cuts off right there. I don't think he killed her. I really don't think he did that. So then Jay arrives to Pete's location at his work, and Pete is really pissed off at Jay because apparently the DEA came and raided his place, and due to what happened, he had to basically get rid of all the drugs and everything else, as it is the same DEA guy that Durant has been talking to regarding Adrian. And that is how the episode basically ends. I felt like this episode, it was a cool episode. You definitely did have some crazy moments, to say the least. And I just feel that next episode, episode 8, is about to be on some crazy type of time. I would say the first thing that I enjoyed about this episode was the crazy party at the family house. Craig not caring, Craig jumping off that building and everything else. Crazy, to say the least. Another thing that I enjoyed about this episode was that we found out a little bit more about Cassandra and some of the things that she is going through in her own personal life, such as custody battle, divorce battles. Like, it is just like she's going through it as well. And I don't think that Pope killed her by the end of the episode when he snuck back in to her place. And yeah, Ren going bat as crazy on those skateboarder guys, using that weapon to steal their drugs and beating everybody up. That was really crazy, to say the least. And so I have a feeling that that may come back to bite her some way, somehow. Pete getting raided by the DEA. I wouldn't blame Jay 100% for all of that, because I would blame Duran as well. he tried to be all hotshot and everything, try to like handle things, but he should have told the entire family what was going on with that DEA agent regarding Adrian and everything else. Had he told the family about the DEA agent, I think that this would have all been avoided and everything else. And the family is definitely struggling. The only one that's trying to help the family out, that's trying to make some moves, is Jay. And I have a feeling that the entire family is definitely going to turn on Jay due to the trailers from next episode, because if you've seen it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I really think that Pamela is not coming back because the papers were signed, and I don't see like another reason for her to return. I want her to come back, but I don't see what's going to happen by then. They got the house back, and I would have to assume the estate of Smurfs. But out of all, cool episode in my opinion. So until next time, everybody, goodbye.